Creating more square feet where there is none. Now this is where it gets really magical. Well, how can you create more square feet in a house without extending it? Well, genuinely, not in terms of the impression. I've talked a lot about a sense of space, but actually how can you create more space without having any more space? Sounds impossible. Well, the first technique I would say is overlapping zones. This is house, I've shown you a picture of this one before with the tall window at the front. This is the plan. This is the plan of the house before we started. Front door, bay with a little window in it, into a front room. Door, staircase, door, dining room. Very, very gloomy dining room with a little window. Feels kind of contained and horrid. Door, little kitchen. Very standard arrangement, everything feels quite small. It's a small house, surprise, surprise. Aha, but once we've done a load of work to it, we've opened it up. We've taken these two walls out, we've flipped the staircase round, we've put that very lightweight looking staircase in across here. We've taken this wall out. Now, the kitchen previously was this big. There was absolute clarity that that was as big as the kitchen is. It's quite small. The kitchen now is this big. The worktop is 6 meters long, in fact over 6 meters long. It feels like a really big kitchen in a little house. It feels really generous and luxurious. Looking at the photograph, I'm standing in the kitchen and the kitchen unit's going away. There's every sense that I'm in the kitchen here. Whereas with the previous example I wanted very clearly defined zones, in here I've deliberately overlapped and fudged the boundary between the zones in order to overlap them. So the kitchen is physically much bigger. This, well, I'll show you the next slide on here. This is the dining zone. Again, light is pouring into it, it feels bigger, but there's actually, it can spill into the kitchen space, it can spill into the living room space. The dining room is bigger. The kitchen's bigger, the dining room's bigger, and the living room is also bigger. The kitchen, looking towards the end, here is the area of it with the cooker and the oven and the sink, all the sort of like really clear kitchen-y things. As it comes this way, it gradually morphs more into storage. We've got glassware and cutlery and crockery and that sort of thing, moving up towards more DVDs and books and things towards the other end. There's no sense that the kitchen stops here. The kitchen feels really, really large. So although we've added no square feet, the kitchen's bigger, the dining room's bigger, the living room's bigger. You've added space. Now this one I really, really like, and my only disappointment with this was that I never got any photographs of the finished project, which is a great shame because I've lectured about this many times. Again, a long time ago. Tiny little house in Ealing. Really tiny little house, very, very sweet little house. Front door, staircase. This is as it was before. Front door, staircase, front room. Pushing through, little bit of kitchen, bathroom, because there's 2 bedrooms upstairs, absolutely no room for a bathroom upstairs. Bathroom here, and a little store cupboard with a back window. You're in the front room, you can't even see the garden. The great big lump of bathrooms right in the way. What can you do? You can't put the bathroom upstairs, you don't want to extend because there's no budget for that sort of thing. We did a bathroom here. We've got a basin and a loo and a sliding door. Marvellous. Nice big kitchen area now. That's absolutely wonderful. You've got a wall here, nice big kitchen, window, a really strong sense of space right through. You can sit in here, see your garden, lots of space to operate in the kitchen. That's marvellous, you say, but how do you get into the bath? Ha ha ha! So you grab this wall and you pull a handle and you swing it like that. And so you open the door and you walk in here and you have a bath. Now this was a house where only one person lived. They couldn't be in the kitchen and the bathroom at the same time. So when they wanted a bath, they had a nice big bathroom. And when they wanted to finish their bath, they closed that, they had a nice big kitchen. We used the same floor space twice. It's possible to use space more than once. There's all sorts of ways. Tip number 9, great storage that fits the internal geography of your house. Storage is very important. We all have loads and loads and loads of stuff. And when we haven't got anywhere to put our loads and loads and loads of stuff, we dump it on the floor, or we dump it on the sofa, or we dump it on the dining table, and our interior just looks more cluttered and more closed in, and there's no sense of space. We need somewhere to put our stuff, but if you don't think about our storage, if we just go and buy a blooming great cupboard and then stick it in the room, it can actually make matters worse. The cupboard might not be very efficient for what you're storing, and it might be just this great big lump in the room. It's very important that your storage fits within, as I say, what I call the internal geography of the house. It's part of the architecture, if you like. I love this example. I was very proud of this. This was a flat in Brick Lane, and we had a sort of open kitchen that was already there, and they had this doorway through to a sort of walk-in cupboard that was where the boiler was and the cylinder, and then beyond that there was the access to the lift gear to the lift that served the building and stuff like that. So you had to get in there, you couldn't block it off, but it was a bit of a waste of space. It was very, very deep. So what we did is we made a door that was as thick as a wine bottle, and we inhabited that door with lots of storage. This is actually here, the spine of the hinge that holds the whole thing, and there's a little wheel on the nose of it, and you pull the whole door and it just opens. And you can still get into the boiler cupboard and access the lift gear and all of those sorts of things, but you've actually added a whole lot of storage, some of which is hidden behind little doors for your less attractive packets of half-open popcorn, and some is open to see your lovely glassware and cookery books and bottles of wine. That was a nice example of storage that really works with the architecture of the space. A more common example, perhaps, is a bench seat. In this particular example, we've got a bench seat with a lift-up lid with storage underneath. That's very, very helpful. Sometimes you don't want to have to lift the lid up because you have to take the things off the top in order to get at the storage, so you can do doors in the front of that storage. A very, very common thing we often do in living rooms, for example, is to do a plinth all the way down one wall of the living room, seat height, so that when you've got guests around, you've got extra space for seating, some cushions on top of it, and on the front of it, doors, maybe sitting on top of it, your telly on a little stand, very nice and clean, because you've got your DVD player and your skybox and all of that sort of thing in the cupboard underneath, and all your DVDs all hidden away. But it actually adds to the sense of the room, adds to the architecture of the room. Walk-in wardrobes. I love this example. This is an example where we've got a master bedroom here. Through that opening is the ensuite bathroom. Just to the side here is the entrance to the master bedroom suite. Directly opposite is a walk-in wardrobe for her, full of her boots and her shoes and her dresses and all of that sort of stuff. But we didn't neglect the for him, because if you turn around the other side, you can see a nice bedside light on the wall where the bed head is, and there's the window beyond. Might be a little bit bleached out here, might look better on that image. And around the corner of that wall, the wall where the bed head is isn't actually the end wall of the room. We've built that wall forward, and we've done a lovely walk-in wardrobe for him with his polo shirts all colour coordinated in a line, and all his boots and shoes at the end there. So storage fitting in to the geography of the room. This sort of a space equally very often works for a small ensuite bathroom. Nice big bedroom, where can I put the bathroom? Bring a wall forward as your bedhead wall. Behind the bedhead is an opportunity for an ensuite bathroom. And my final point of my 10 top tips: staircases can unlock great space. Very often people think staircases are fundamental cornerstones of the house, and you wouldn't dream of moving a staircase. Staircases are just pieces of joinery, in the same way that wardrobes are just pieces of joinery. It sounds very fundamental, but changing or moving a staircase is not necessarily a big deal. Often flipping it round so it goes up the other way is not necessarily a big deal. It's not a huge amount of work, and sometimes it can completely unlock a plan and completely unlock a house that's got bad circulation to really solve that circulation. This example is one that I was particularly proud of. We did recently. Again, two photographs overlaying each other. Sorry, it's a little bit confusing, but basically you come into the front door, here's the front hallway. Great big dominant staircase, not much daylight, no view through to very much. You sort of squiffy view sideways and down that wall to the garden at the end. Staircase going up with this rather dominating balustrade, and then around to the corner. What we did was that when we looked on plan, we realised that we could move the staircase completely to a different position and tuck it into the side. So as you can see now, you come in the front door, you've got this lovely, generous, wide hallway, a hallway that's really working hard for you, because it's saying, look at me, I'm on a great big wide hallway, I'm going through, down a couple of steps, kitchen island, garden beyond. Again, depth of views, you're going one space, through a second space, to a third space beyond, setting up a lovely axial view through the house. Loads of daylight coming in because of the enlarged opening, and the stairs off to the side. The stairs off to the side didn't just help on the ground floor, however. Up at the top of the house, there was this loft that used to look like this. The fact that they decided to fit it out a bit like a Swedish sauna didn't help, but ignoring the knotty pine, we've got a great big lump of thing which is in fact the top of the stairs coming up from below, because it comes up and invades the space. The whole thing feels really dominated by the staircase. By repositioning the staircase, we position it so the top of the stairs comes up here. You come up here into the main space. We were able to create a really lovely master suite with little ensuite bathroom, open plan, to the bed, to the bedroom, great big window with the view of the garden, lots more light. And you can see here the other view, stairs is off down to the side here. By repositioning the stairs, we completely unlocked the space within this house and we're able to use it much, much more efficiently. So that's my 10 top tips. Thank you very much indeed.